This podcast is sponsored by MD Serono and AbbVie.
Hey y'all, I'm Victoria and this is Patient You Podcast, and I'm really excited about this episode. Mainly because the therapeutic area that we're talking about, which is lupus, it's like the sister cousin to MS. A lot of people will talk about MS and lupus in the same conversation. There are a lot of similarities in some of the symptoms and the experiences and some of the bad experiences of getting diagnosed. And so I wanted to talk to someone who is very vocal about their experience. And if you know me, you know I've been vocal about my experience for years. And it takes a lot of guts, a lot of confidence, but it also is like you got to be brave. You don't know what people are going to say. I'm sure our guest has heard the craziest of things. So have I. But I really wanted to make sure that not only do we learn about our guests, that we learn about lupus and we learn about the experience of someone living with lupus, and that we get to have just a really I don't know, we can have a funny conversation. We can have a sad conversation. It could go wherever it wants. But I really want our audience to take away the real lived experience of lupus. I think that's what's missing in conversations about healthcare. We talk about the science, the medical part, right? But sometimes we don't talk about the person. And that's why this podcast is here. We want to talk about the commonalities and that golden thread between multiple illnesses. And so I have Naomi Rose here. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. All right. So first, I like to ask, who are you? Like, if you were to give a really high level description or introduction for yourself, who are you?
Oh, well, I do a lot. I'm a mother first, and I love being a mom. So that's like it's fun to me. The things I do with my son is fun. Navigating it is fun. That's my, a lot of people. Of course, I need my breaks, but I think because of my son's personality, he makes it very enjoyable. So it's a job that I like.
Okay.
And I display my life on social media. So
Okay. And so I found her on TikTok. I was trying to do my research. I knew that I wanted to connect with someone in the lupus space. But you know what? I'm very picky about who I reach out to and who I try to connect with. And I'm picky not because I'm the dun data of anything, but just more so when you're doing this work and you want to collab with someone who is talking about their story or sharing their story, you want to find someone who is already doing it openly. Like, I can't have a conversation, me being as open as I am and for as long as I've been doing it, the conversation doesn't flow if this is the first time someone's really, really talking about it, you know? And so it's helpful to talk to someone who is already sharing and then we're aligned as to why we're sharing. And so I'll stop there and ask you, why did you decide to share your lupus journey or your diagnosis? Like, that's very vulnerable and intimate to share. What made you share that?
Yeah. So I want to say I'm naturally kind of like an open book. And like I said, I've already been very active on my platforms just in general. So it kind of I kind of fell into it, but I didn't have any resistance because I really have no shame in my journey. I always shared the good and the bad, whatever you consider good or bad. But
so you were really active before your diagnosis, or you? Okay.
Yeah, before my diagnosis. So it was a thing of making hair videos, and then it was actually brought to my attention by my supporters. In a kind of a comical way.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was doing a hair video, an update, And I was literally like joking around. I was like, what is this baby bottom bald spot on my head? Like touching it and everything, laughing. And then a lot of the comments came back like, girl, you need to go to the dermatologist. Like,
Wow. So I didn't know that. In my
yeah.
little research, because I was doing research, but then I was like, don't do too much because I want the conversation to be authentic.
Yeah,
Wow. So
yeah,
there's a lot of intersectionality with what you were doing in
yeah,
your diagnosis story.
yeah, for
Okay. And so
sure.
tell us about that and then tell us what were your next steps after that came up?
Yeah. So I was looking at the comments and I was kind of like, maybe you're right. And then I brought it up to like really close with like my family and stuff. So I brought it up to my mom. And then like she was looking at it. And as soon as she said it, that was like the confirmation. Mama says go to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor. So
Okay.
yeah, she was like, go get it checked or whatever. And so after that, I made my appointment. And at the time I didn't have a set like dermatologist. So I just it was referenced by my mom because she went to that same facility. So I just went there
To a
just
dermatologist.
to a dermatologist.
Okay.
Yeah. And this was my first time there. And the experience just wasn't great, but I went and she did a biopsy. So it kind of happened really fast from like the moment that I saw that bald spot to my appointment, like the follow up, probably like less than a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your followers kind of put
So
you
my
on.
followers, yeah, that's why I was like,
Wow. The power of social
the
media,
power,
right?
yeah.
That's
Like
interesting.
to bring it to my attention because a lot of times you can be so like in the moment or also being unaware of certain things. It doesn't
Mhm.
even cross your mind to take necessary steps when it comes to like your health because you might think it's just another.
Because you could have just popped off.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, shut
Yeah, yeah,
like,
that too. Exactly, right? Like,
it'll lead to another video.
yeah,
Like, what? This
right.
is
Like they said, yeah. But no, like I said, I'm pretty like open. So I've always been like, even like negative comments and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
always am open to hearing what someone has to say and like navigating it from there. Like, is this really? Should I take this into consideration?
Yeah,
So
but were they clowning you?
no, no, no. It was like this was
It
like
was
authentic.
concern?
No, this was like really like, hey, like I think that might be something more than just like a bald spot. Or like they'll tell
Wow.
like they were telling like a summary of like their journey. Like, oh, I had this happened to me
And they were
in a
saying maybe
way.
different
And it
things.
could but
Oh.
nothing that I remember said lupus.
Mhm.
But they were just saying like it could be the cause of something like deeper. Like you should really
Look
like get
into
that,
it.
look into
Look at
that.
that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, yeah, like you said, the power of social media is like can take you like really far.
Right. It
Yeah.
could really affect your health and
Mhm.
something that you might have not have ever went to the doctor. You may have just put some grease on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Use
Like,
my growth
start
oil
taking some
drops.
Nutrafol or something.
Yeah. So many
Wow.
like growth oil drops or just and also at the time because I'm a mom,
Yeah.
I was experiencing postpartum shedding
Yeah.
a lot already.
Okay.
So I was kind of coupling it with that.
And
Like,
so were those that occurrence, was that like the first sign that you think led up to, or were there some other signs or symptoms in retrospect that were happening?
um, that was the first sign pretty much. There was one incident that happened when I was like younger, like years before that. I want
Yeah.
to say it was 2017.
Mhm.
And I went to an amusement park, Six Flags, and I literally like I was probably there for like 2 hours and I left like limping, couldn't even get back to the car. Like I had to get on my dad's back to get back to the car and it was crazy, didn't know what was happening. And
Yeah.
my joints were like just like giving out on me.
Mhm.
And I went, ended up getting checked for it. And I've always been like, my doctor told me I was ANA positive. And so I didn't know that tied into like lupus or like what all it tied into different autoimmune diseases. I didn't even know the different types of autoimmune diseases.
What's ANA?
So um
If you don't know,
I
it's
don't want to
fine.
misquote it, but I know it
No, we
ties.
we ain't
I
doctors,
was
so
say I'm
it's
not a
cool.
medical professional, so I don't want to nobody
We
to
are
get on
not
me.
medical
Yeah, but
professionals.
I know that
But you know that's the test.
I know that's the test. And
Gotcha.
when it's positive, it can tie back into like different things, mainly like autoimmunes.
Right.
But it can affect you like in different ways.
Okay. And so back to the diagnosis, you got the biopsy.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then so I got the biopsy, then about 2 weeks later, they called me back and was like, yeah, it came back positive for lupus. And I literally like just broke down on the phone. Like it was the fact that like even at that appointment, the biopsy appointment, it was a very like insensitive experience. It was very like I left just feeling like confused, but also I wasn't too hurt because I didn't really know much about what lupus was.
Right.
But at the same time, when I asked about it, because she said she's going to do a biopsy and it's probably just alopecia, but it could be lupus. And I asked her what lupus was, and I literally left with just like a pamphlet. And like she wasn't really informative, but I wasn't expecting for it to actually come back as lupus.
Right. So,
So
and that person who gave you the pamphlet, that was still the dermatologist?
yeah, that was the first one that I went to.
Got you.
And that's why I said I ended up
And so
switching.
I'm going to pause there because I
Yeah.
think that's so interesting
Mhm.
that, but also not unpopular.
Mhm.
Like when you say she said it could be alopecia or it could be lupus, and then she gave you like a pamphlet,
Yeah.
and that pamphlet wasn't enough.
That pamphlet was not enough. That I looked at it and I looked at her and I was still like asking questions, and she kind of was giving me like a rundown, but it was very much like you're just another patient. I've given you the pamphlet. Wear sunscreen every day if you have it. This, that, and the third. And like, let me know if you have any more questions. Like very dismissive, very insensitive.
And so and looking back, what experience, because I say it's not unpopular because I feel like we all felt like that.
Yeah.
And my question and my quest is to like learn, is it sometimes our expectation, which is not a bad expectation, but is it our expectation as patients or is it their lack of care as health providers, And so I always wonder,
Yeah.
like even with my story when I got diagnosed, it's very similar to that. I
Yeah.
got like a printout. I didn't get a pamphlet. I got a printout that was stapled together of what MS was, and it was my primary care physician.
Yeah.
And I always question myself, and I believe that it was not a good experience because he told me Black people don't get MS. But that's another story for another day. But I always wonder, was it the gaze, the fog, the shock of getting a diagnosis? And then, or was it what I think I'm supposed to see from a doctor because I see something on TV? You know what I mean? Or
Right.
was it just the hug that I needed that I would
Yeah.
never be able to get from a doctor? Do you know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say?
I see
It's
what you're
like, or is
yeah.
it all three? You know what I mean?
I think it is a mixture. I think for me, um, feeling underprepared, like knowing enough that this is an actual like diagnosis, like viewing it as because I didn't even know what lupus was at all, but like it seems so serious now that I know it's like now that I know it's a thing. And she also told me that there's no cure for it in the same breath. And to do that over the phone, I just felt like very much like a door was just shut in my face.
Mm,
Like something just sunk to my stomach when I like
yeah.
hearing that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually getting emotional again because it's like just to not expect that to be so young, like, and then it's like not knowing where to go or how to navigate it. And when someone tells you something's not curable, that's hard. That's something hard to take in,
Yeah.
like at a young age. You get what I'm saying? Nor at any age, at any
Yeah.
age.
At any age.
But in my situation, for that to happen over the phone, and then what? I'm just going to drive home now,
Right.
like now what?
Because
So
where were you?
yeah, I was in the car. I was driving somewhere, but I pulled over, and then luckily I have a great support system. So like the sorrow and letting it seep in, it lasted, but I gave myself some time, like before even just jumping back on social media and being like, well, y'all, I got like, no, I took my time to like figure things out and like do more research. Take that pamphlet and like actually look it up and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think also like seeing like doing, when you do your own research, Google can be a scary
Ooh,
place.
child.
Google, okay. So when you put a picture to a diagnosis and that's all you have,
Mm-hmm.
that's what scared me the most. Because
So
I'm
what were
like,
your pictures that you were seeing?
yeah. So like I have specifically discoid lupus. So it affects my skin and my scalp. versus my joints, which I am appreciative of that part of my journey because it is a little more life-threatening when it like affects your joints. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that I can be sustainable enough on my journey now so where it doesn't lead to that.
Yeah.
But with it affecting my skin and my scalp, a lot of the pictures were just like scarred skin, hyperpigmentation, but it can get like very intense.
Yeah.
Um,
And did you see representation of someone that looked like you, like race, gender?
ooh, not I may have seen like one or two pictures, but majority wasn't. But
Majority wasn't black.
majority wasn't black,
Wow.
like on the internet at least. Like
Wow.
yeah, but I saw like one or two, and I was like, okay, so that's how like if it shows up on my skin, like okay, that's
This is what it's gonna
probably
look like.
how it'll appear. Yeah, because even like in like an explanation form, like because that first doctor, of course, she fed me some like told me, but very like briefly, like you could get a lesion that gets worse. Because also, I'm sorry, the I forgot to mention the bald spot is what initially brought me there, but I did also have like a little lesion in the middle of my head,
Okay.
but it was just like it was like raised. It wasn't like scarred, hyperpigmented or anything. It was just like a little raised.
Like a
So
circle, like a patch. Okay.
yeah. So I was like, it was like one of those, like what is that?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of it comes in its like different phases. So me not even knowing that was the beginning of my
And you didn't even
journey.
know that that had something to do with the patch.
Yeah, like
Wow.
yeah. So it's like things are just like connecting in that way.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
So that's actually a good segue
Yeah.
to let me define what
Yes.
lupus is. So lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease
Mhm.
where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissues, causing inflammation and damage to various organs, including joints, skin, kidneys, heart, and lungs.
Mm.
And I also have a stat here that the Lupus Foundation gave us that it reports that recent research indicates that lupus affects 1 in 537 young Black women. So it's prevalent among women of color. But
Mhm.
yeah, when you did your initial research, you didn't really see that
Right.
representation. And see,
Mhm.
that's what pisses me
Mhm.
off. And that's what
Mhm.
actually led us here today
Let's
because
talk
I
about it.
was doing my research
Yeah.
and I didn't see representation. And I was looking for myself. And
Yeah.
so my initial like quest wasn't let me like F the system. It wasn't
Yeah.
like let
Yeah.
me be one of the models. It wasn't like that. It was
Yeah.
like, where are the Black people? You know,
Yeah.
I'm from Detroit, like lived,
Yeah.
went to Howard, lived in Harlem. I'm
Mhm.
like one of those girls who
Yeah.
go where the Black people reside.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like, I'm looking for my people. I
Yeah.
know to look for my people. I find
Yeah.
comfort in
Yeah.
looking for my It's no different from when I go, you know, if I move to a new city, I'm gonna look for a
Mhm.
Black church.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna just
Mhm.
go to any church on the street. I'm looking for a
Yeah,
Black
I'm the
church.
same way.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or, you know,
Exactly.
a
So
hairstylist, right?
yeah.
We look for community within our own community.
Yeah.
And so it's very similar to my story where it was like ultimately after I did my research and didn't see myself,
Mhm.
I realized the actual data.
Mhm.
And a few years later, a study came out that a few years after I got diagnosed, excuse me,
Mhm.
study came out that Black women were disproportionately affected by MS. We were like at
Mm.
a 47% higher increase. And now the data says that, you know, even though Black people are a smaller number of the pie in
Yeah.
US population, that we're getting diagnosed, Black women are getting diagnosed with MS at the same rate as white people.
Mm.
But we are what, 13% of the pie?
Yeah.
That's wild, right?
Wow.
So that's
That's wow.
that's crazy. And so to
Yeah.
be affected by it so drastically, but not be the poster child, like
Right.
not be on the
That's
poster,
hard.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful.
It is.
It's
It
disrespect.
really is. It really
I'm like, you
is.
disrespecting me.
Like that.
So I gotta do something.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. And
that's
it's like,
kind of
what's
how
the reason? Like, yeah.
what is the real reason? And I
Yeah.
think we know it's the same reason
Yeah.
as everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
And
first Black this is still happening in 2025,
yeah.
you
And
know?
it's so unfortunate. Like
Mhm.
it's really sad because I feel like things could progress so much further if it was just represented in a different way.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm. And
yeah.
that's kind of why we're doing the work as well, because we wanna make so I always use the example of breast cancer.
Mhm.
Um, there are certain illnesses that are very widely known and everyone knows what it is, right? I use diabetes the same way.
Yeah.
It's very widely known, but there are these other illnesses that need to be just as known because we as a race or a gender within a race, we are disproportionately affected by it. So we need to know about it as a household name so
Yeah.
that if by chance we get a sign, we get a patch, we get a this, we get a that, we just it's in our awareness.
Yeah.
We don't have to automatically diagnose ourselves, right? It could be anything, but I think our journeys would be different. Both
Yeah.
of ours would be
Yeah.
different had we, as a culture, know more about lupus, know more about MS, to be able to say, you know what? I know someone that has this, and that was a sign for her at the beginning. And this,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or when you got
Exactly.
that pamphlet, still needed the pamphlet, but you were like, oh, I know 5 other people with lupus, or I've done the research. I saw a
Exactly.
talk show. I listened to a podcast where
Exactly.
there were 2 Black women talking about lupus, and so you would have known more, right? And so that's why we're doing the work now, right? And so I wanna ask you, you mentioned you have a great support system.
Yeah.
Tell me about your support system. You can tell me about it at the time of diagnosis, or you can tell me about it now.
Yeah. Well, I think just in general, I've always been like a family girl. Like my family's just very like close knit type. Like we just talk about everything. We support everything. So when this came about, it was like we're gonna figure. It's always we're gonna figure this
Yeah.
out, and like that in itself was like okay, reassuring in a sense of like okay, I have someone. Like it might not be the doctor, but I have some people that I can actually count on to navigate and help me like find even more support and like
Yeah.
give me that push to go back to my other doctor who give it a try at least. Like kind of put that extra bug in my ear instead of like allowing me to just shut down all the way. Of course, giving me the space to feel because it was valid and they understand that as well. But like also to know like this is not the end of thing. Like you like no.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. And so from that point to today it's still that way.
And so who are you talking about? Is it your
My mom, my
mom?
dad. I have three sisters and a brother. My brother, he's kind of in his own world. He loves me, but he don't really. He's like, you'll be good and stuff like
He's a
that. But
laid
like
back one.
all the girl talk and stuff like that, and my dad and everyone's just very checks up on me when I have my
Yeah.
appointments, like how's it going, like are you like just keeping up, and they don't have
Yeah.
to do that, especially it's going on 4 years now that I've been diagnosed. So a lot of times you get like kind of complacent or like when it doesn't appear a certain way, like you have a chronic illness.
They stop asking you as much. Yeah, or
Yeah,
could stop asking.
exactly. And so I appreciate that hasn't slowed down within my like small circle.
Good.
And also my best friend, everyone who's close to me, like I appreciate that.
Yeah. Did you grow up with both of your parents in the home?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is your dad an actor?
My dad is an actor.
Is he acting like now, or is like
yeah,
okay.
His name is Miles.
Oh,
If anyone wants to,
nice.
yeah. So he's been all of my childhood, he's been an actor. So, and my parents have been married for 31 years.
Wow.
So,
I just got married last year.
oh,
So I'm always into like how long they've been married.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so what was that like growing up with a dad as an actor?
I don't know. He was kind of like, well, first of all, we all ended up, most of us are in the creator space.
Yeah.
So like was a ton of, and still is, like helping with auditions. So
okay.
we kind of ended up just in the film. I actually majored in film production just kind of by like association. Like that's kind of like what I was used to, and I liked it and things like that.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like just very artsy kind of household. My dad is very like animated, dramatic, funny. Like it was fun, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then my mom, she's a legal secretary, and so she's just like the support. I love her. She's just the support system for everything. She don't be knowing what's going on in the creative world and me thinking of
like
my
content
content ideas, but she's just like, it's gonna work. You better do that, change this tone and stuff like that. So
I love that.
yeah.
So does your dad,
Mhm.
like, help you with content or, like, ideas? Or, maybe when you wanted to do it, did you talk to him
Mhm.
about it? Because I can imagine, you may not be an actress, but
Mhm.
the exposure of being, out
Ye
there or on TV or spotted or something, like, does that you
Yeah.
guys talk about that at all?
Yeah, he's, like, always, like, that push and, like, anything I have any idea that I might have, he's, like, thinking next level, like, I'm like, "Wait, I
Slow
just got"
down.
yeah, like, literally, I just got in, like, I'm still catching my bearings here. He's like, "But you
Yeah.
can do this, but you can if you can film here, but there's a studio over here. You can" like, to always find he's very, like, innovative, very optimistic, very, like, it can get done type, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that so much, like, growing up with that is, like, a blessing. So, that's kinda like that dynamic.
Okay. And so tell me about, you said you work in marketing. So tell
Yes.
me about that. How has that, I would consider you a patient advocate, would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
How has that influenced or helped supported my background's in marketing.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
how has that marketing experience, how has that supported what you do as far as content creation around lupus or around anything?
Um, I think because with me, I think with me, since I've been so focused on, like, just, like, telling my story, like, I always make the disclaimer, like that I'm not a professional, but I just wanna share, like, my story and, like, my journey in, like, the most authentic way. Like, I'm not here to be, like, a perfectionist with anything, and I stand on that, and I feel like it's received very well when
Yeah.
it comes from a more, like, authentic place, or, like, if I have an appointment that just didn't go well, or I hear bad news, and, like, sharing things like that,
Yeah.
but I also have that other part in me where it's like I'm always setting up the camera. I have that mindset of, like, okay, we're gonna give some valuable information too,
Yeah.
like, kind of couple it together and make sure that it has a good balance. So I think it creates, like, a good balance
Like,
for
you know
how I
what you're doing.
showcase
It
things.
helps you.
Yeah, it's kinda like I'm showing it, but it's like I still know what I'm doing with
Yeah.
it.
And so, you created I wanna talk about community.
Okay,
You
yeah.
created a support group.
I did,
And so
yes.
tell me about that, like the path, how close or far after your diagnosis did that start? Where did you host it? Like, tell me all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So, I have a support group called Living with Lupus Support Group,
Mhm.
and I just have it. It's just a digital, um, engaging type of situation that I set up where it can be accessed like on my website. But it started. I eventually want to be in person. Like, I want to start doing more like hands on and meeting with the um any of the warriors that are in the chat, because like we kind of discussed, that community that you wish you could have
Mhm.
is so essential. Like, with my community, even bringing it to my attention, I was like, having that was everything, and I want to keep it going. And I did something where I spoke. It was a lupus walk that I went to, and I spoke at it. And like seeing everybody out there, like being so encouraged by like even just me telling my story, where it started, how we can relate, like we just felt safe. And I was like, it was after that point, and I want to say 2 years, no, 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 a little over a year ago.
Mhm.
And after that, I kind of went back home, like, yeah, I wanna make it more close in where we
Yeah.
can like text and talk and send pictures and literally like, girl, what happened? Like, what's it looking like now? How did this process go?
Right.
Like did your hyperpigmentation get worse? Did it get better? Like all the things. Like I want it to be like a home girl or a homeboy, whoever is
I love
experiencing type of
that.
situation. So yeah, I created like a support group, and we're able to be free and like have no shame
Mhm.
and feel welcome. Because a lot of the comments I noticed, which is what initiated this,
Mhm.
was like long like stories of like people just feeling alone. And I like felt that it's like a different thing. Like sharing my journey is like one thing, but it kind of hits different when it's kind of like more personal.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
And so it's hosted on a website and it's like a forum where you can comment and chat, or is it like a Facebook group or
So it's Telegram. So it's like
okay.
it's set up like a group chat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just have like certain restrictions on it to where like you can't screenshot within it and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like really like a safe space to where you can send videos, you can send voice notes if you want. We can set up a group FaceTime if we want.
Wow, and so like, what is the age range of the folks that join?
You can be any age because I've come to realize like you a lot of people are going through this. Like a lot of things that I see and hear about is like, oh, my mom had this, my auntie had this, my nephew, my niece. Like it's just it's ranges. So why limit anybody? In my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily limit, but like
Mhm.
people who are drawn to your group. Is there
Mhm.
like a 67-year-old woman in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know
Like
how
what
like
is
it
the
could be open. So like we deal with that. Like with our
yeah
real. Like we have a Facebook group, we have an
yeah
Instagram community, and then we have a
got
newsletter
you
community. Our Facebook
yeah
community is obviously older.
yeah
You know
yeah
what I
yeah
mean?
yeah. I
Which
see what
is
you're saying.
fine. Our
Yeah.
Instagram,
Mm.
group, it runs the gamut, but it's definitely more like millennials because
Right.
that's just our hangout
Yeah.
spot, right? We're
Yeah.
not on TikTok, but you'll see the
Okay.
different generations, and I think we've had eras where, I felt that a lot of young people
Mhm.
came to our group because of me. And when I
Yeah.
say young, I'm acting like I'm mad young, but just people my age were
Yeah.
drawn to the group. But then I started to see the more I diversified what the group, like the images look like, the stock
Mhm.
images, or the people we included in certain things, they were a wider age group that then it
Mm.
attracted more people who were still looking for community. And so whether the woman is 70 and I'm 32, I'm
Yeah.
not 32, but when I'm 32, they would still be connected and feel compelled to join the group despite me
Yeah.
being younger than them. And I think that, sometimes it's just nuances. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, and actually, you even bringing that up, like, I do wanna have more of that dynamic, like, see what that is like, because it is mostly, like, millennials, and I don't know, it could be because it is, like, a group chat type of setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Mhm.
most likely is, like, the reason why, but yeah, I would love for in
Just to make sure it's like
yeah.
everybody.
Mhm,
Yeah. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
And so I got a few more questions.
Okay.
And so you've built this community.
Yeah.
Where do you see it going?
Ooh. I wanna, like I really wanna do, like, more research to see where it can go, cause like, a lot of things is just I'm learning just through experiences
Mhm.
or, like, maybe, like, an ad that pops up, like, "Oh, this is" like, even, like, the Lupus walk that I went to, like, a year ago, like, I didn't know there was Lupus walks
So
and, like,
but you
some so
getting booked to
close.
speak. So
Yeah, so
how did that
now
happen?
so that was, like, the first that so, actually, it's funny because I got invited to it to speak, but I haven't even been to one before.
Wow. So you kind
Yeah.
of jumped into it.
Yeah, so I kinda, like, just jumped into it, because, like, the lady who, like, hosted it, um, she like, she knew of me and knew that I had lupus,
Mhm.
and so, like, that was, like, my first introduction, like, to that, and I was like, "Wow, well, I would love to attend, and I would love to speak," and then after that, I was like, "Okay," that's how I, like, knew, and then I was like, "Okay, let me make, like, my own thing," but outside of that, like, even as more stuff like that pops up, like, I'm just so open to, like, attending these things, but then also like making it like my initiative to like act on it too as well. Like
Yeah.
even different things like maybe like merch and stuff like that, but like more in person and like personable
Yeah.
experiences. So I don't know where it could go, but I'm definitely like open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so on TikTok, you're on TikTok and Instagram
Yeah.
where you share different reels and stories and things like that about
Yeah.
your experience, right?
Mhm.
How many followers? Like, do you have a large following on
Ye-
either platform?
Yeah, so on TikTok I have 226,000
Mhm.
and then Instagram I have 142,000.
And so your lupus content,
Yeah.
um, are those some of your highest viewed videos, or what's the highest like?
Yeah. So my both of my platforms I focus on like lighthearted motherhood
Mhm.
and my lupus journey. So those are like my main types of content. And to be honest, both of them do pretty well. Lupus a lot many times has like a more heartfelt, like it's more touching and
Yeah.
it gets a lot of like views and expansion and reach and stuff like that. And then my motherhood is more so like kind of like more comical.
Mhm.
But I think with lupus, it is more of like a sometimes the comments get a little
So
low energy.
you read my mind. I was
Okay.
about to go there.
Okay.
What, when you post your lupus content
Yeah.
and you have a large reach, I'm sure you get general feedback like,
Yeah.
"Oh, wow, you're strong,"
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything, right?
yeah.
But what is the temperature of the type of comments you get? Are they a lot of people saying things that you never heard before? Are sometimes they discouraging? Do they seem depressing or do they
Right.
seem uplifting? Like, what are you
Yeah.
getting?
Yeah, so it's definitely like a mixture depending on the tone of the video. 'Cause I could have the same content and make it like funny, like, you know, or it could be like sad music behind it and it can be like sad.
Yeah.
But like for me, I'm very like confident like in my journey. So it doesn't really affect me the response that it gets, but many times it is like oh my god. It's kind of like oh my gosh, like I'm so sorry, like this happened to you. And the ones that might kind of get me the most, or like I don't feed too much into, is like when people will literally say like their mom died from it, like the passing
You
away.
even whispered it just
I
now.
know. It's like I know it sounds so like crazy to even like repeat back. Like reading it is one thing, but then it's like, oh my gosh, like it's kind of like a reminder. Like although I'm in the flow of just like editing, posting, going through my journeys, going to my appointments, and living through it. It's like a pause moment. Like I'm really living through this. Like it's like a hold on, like a reality kind of check.
Yeah.
And those comments do come up like a lot because it's people's real life stories. But it's kind of weird when it's just like kind of left there in the comments and then like it's just like there. Like
Do you respond to those?
it depends. If it causes for a response, like I might say something like uplifting, like I'm glad like you're strong. We got this and stuff like that. Because I get a lot of those comments too, like very positive and
Yeah.
encouraging. Like you can get through this. Like oh my gosh, like thanks for sharing. So I like to just keep it positive. I don't really when I respond, I don't really like dwell. If that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Have you ever gotten, like, maybe early in your diagnosis, have you ever thought about, like, death or, does it scare you?
Yeah, it does, and like it's honestly I use it as like a motivation type of situation because there's been different phases of my journey. Obviously, I'm not like the perfect, taking my medicine on time every day. I know my routine is just like this, and if I do this, it's not going to escalate to this. Like, no, I'm very aware of like reality and like being human and like just not wanting to take medicine or like n- just thinking of like natural alternatives, all the things. So I've gone through my phases where I haven't, but then it's like, and I see comments like that or like that reminder comes, it's kind of like, do what you need to do for like your health. Like, it's
Yeah.
like a reality check for me sometimes. And it's like those things have actually like motivated me to like get back when I've fallen off. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think being around you mentioned with your community wanting more, like, in person,
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
How do you think that in-person community would help you versus what you have right now? Like, or benefit you?
Yeah. I think it would just be more of like a natural um experience to just feel more confident just naturally instead of like feeling like it's being seeked out. It's kind of like just through natural conversation
Yeah.
talking about things or like being able to relate on things like it's like that feeling or like it's funny like making a new friend and this happened to me like recently like I just naturally meshed so well with this one girl when I went out and like literally I'm like where have you been like just our conversation just naturally flowed and we were just like bouncing off of each other
And
like
she had lupus?
no,
Oh,
sorry. This
oh.
is just I'm just like kind of comparing like the feeling
Oh, okay,
of
okay.
like feeling safe and I just want those more in-person interactions.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a difference with like that versus kind of like online. But I do feel like with like my like the group chat and the support group,
Yeah.
because it's so like you can send videos, we can send voice notes,
Okay.
it kind of does still have that feeling.
Yeah.
But I want to see like what else is out there. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah. I have to say,
mm,
well, I hope you find it. I hope you
mm,
create it.
mm,
But that has changed my life.
yeah.
The community part. So I
Yeah.
had an online community as well as on
Okay.
Facebook. And I had that for years.
Yeah.
And so I had someone to talk to, but it was just like parasocial relationships.
Yeah.
It was online. I didn't commune with them. But now, having so we started off just all virtual.
Yeah.
And then the very first in-person event we ever had was a conference. Crazy.
Mm.
Planning a conference
Wow.
like that is crazy. We ain't do no small pop-up events. We started off with a conference.
I love that though.
And I know, right? Crazy. But it has been amazing being in
Yeah.
a room full of women who have the same, like no MS diagnosis is the same, right? They call it the snowflake disease because no
Mm.
MS is the same, right?
Mm.
In a person. But being in a room with everyone who got that same scary diagnosis as me,
Mm.
everyone who went to look for themselves in an article, in a magazine, in a pamphlet,
Yeah.
anyone who would look for research or information, like all those girls went through the same thing as me, that same
Yes.
shock moment, the same crazy comments, or
Yeah.
random people getting nervous around you because you have the illness and they don't know how to talk about it.
Right.
And it's just
Mm.
like, I hadn't realized how isolated, even though I had like a Facebook group,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how isolating it was to live in this space, and none of my family has MS, none of my friends have MS, and
Mm.
I'm just talking to these strangers. It still was missing a connection, right? And
Yeah.
so when I went a step further and started to build a team to
Mhm.
help me, they all had MS. I'm like, I'm just gonna like I remember Beyonce having a she had an all-girl band, and I'm like, that's how you do it. You get people
Yes.
who are the same, you build it. And
Yes.
so I'm like, let me build me a little MS girl group,
Yes.
as my team. And so everybody on my team had MS in the beginning. And I
Wow.
wanted it to be authentic,
I
because
love
we
that.
know our experience.
Yeah.
And then when I got them, I'm talking to them every day because we're working. And
Right.
then we planned this conference, and now I'm like around 100. I was about to say
Wow.
100 bitches.
I mean,
Around
hey,
100 bitches with MS,
like,
but 100 women around all these women with MS, and it is just different. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is powerful.
Yeah.
The room is vibrating
Yeah.
because we all felt alone. We
Mhm.
all were looking for each other. We
Could
all had the
connect.
same questions. And so it's just beautiful. And so I
Yeah.
encourage you to continue to look for that, to build that in all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, no, and that's like I love that, and like even like seeing coming across your page when we connected is like even seeing that like that's it's rare. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so like involved and like so out with it confidently. Like, and even that made me feel like, wow, like, and I immediately wanted to like be here and just like talk with you for that reason. But doing it, I love that. Like doing it, it's encouraging to do it yourself. Like just do it. Like just do it.
Yeah.
Like why not?
If you already have people who resonate with you,
Yeah.
because I always say the message is in or with the messenger.
Mm.
So it could be a ton of people that have lupus,
Mm-hmm.
and they could be black, white, whatever they could, but the way you tell it, the
Yeah.
way what people see in you, because like I don't
Yeah.
even my diagnosis journey wasn't the craziest, longest, story.
Yeah.
And there were times where I felt like I can't be the patient advocate that I want to be
Yeah.
because I don't have a crazy enough story. But then I'm
Mm.
like, honestly, it's not about that.
No, yeah.
Because the person with the craziest story, one, might not want to share.
Mm.
They might not want to be a community builder, but they're
Mm.
not going to say it like me. And they not
Yeah.
going to do it like
And
me.
that,
And I
yeah.
realized the message was in the messenger.
Yeah.
And that this was my purpose
Yeah.
to have that diagnosis so that I could share and connect all these people, but also the bigger work that I'm trying to do,
Yes.
having more diverse clinical trials, making sure
Mm.
MS, that Black women and Black people are included in MS research. And so I realized it was so much bigger than me, and it's been a
Yeah.
game changer ever since. And so,
That's really good. I feel like that's the main like takeaway that it's so much bigger than the diagnosis itself. Like it gets deep. And if we're gonna be on the journey, then why not expand with it?
I love that.
So yeah.
We had a great conversation. Thanks for
Yes.
being here. I want to ask you a few more questions. What does your care look like, right? And so we take our medicine. I hope you take your if you
Mhm.
are,
Mhm, mhm.
the choice is yours. Some people choose a more holistic, natural
Mhm.
path, and they choose not to take that medication. But outside of that,
Mhm.
what do you do to like take care of yourself? I think it's like bigger than self-care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously. But I think when you are diagnosed with a chronic illness,
Mhm.
like there is a certain level of like, I'm paying attention to so many more things now because I have to, but also because I need to. And then I
Mhm.
think lastly, because I want to.
Yeah.
Like I want to be a person that despite a diagnosis, I'm still
Yeah.
trying to be as healthy as I can be. And so what does that look like for you?
Yeah.
And I will say that so
Mhm.
many people they get a diagnosis and it scares them so much that they really don't allow time for acceptance that
Yeah.
they get to avoidance. That they almost
Mm.
don't really take care of themselves
Mhm.
because they're like, it's too much. And so I
Mhm.
want to ask you just a whole gamut. Like,
Yeah.
how you feeling? You like, what's your
Yeah.
relationship with your doctor? Like, are you on top of it? You got a
Yeah.
binder, you got a notebook, like all those kind of
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, so I've definitely gone through, like, different phases,
Mhm.
I know at some point, like, last year, I kind of, like, fell off with things because I was just like, "Ugh," like, I'm tired of this doctor telling me I have to take this medicine every day, like, indefinitely, like, what if I don't? Like, let me just try these smoothies, let me try this sea moss for a certain amount of time, like,
Mhm.
and so I did go through a little like avoidance like period, and I'm like, oh, I can't make it to that appointment. Oh, you
I'll
can't
be back.
reschedule me. Yeah, like I reschedule me when you can. Call me if the wait list opens up. Like I went
You
through
get
that whole phase.
frustrated.
Yeah, just like out of frustration, knowing deep down that it's like I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But at one of like my recent appointments a few months ago, I kind of when she was asking me, and I love my doctor. The relationship I have with my doctor right now, it's great. She takes like reference pictures and she like literally like will pull that up and compare it to like she'll take my word for like what I'm saying, but she'll like do a comparison and like tell me if she feels opposite. Like she's very honest, but she's
Yeah.
also very like welcoming. And like I love that about her. So with that, and I was honest with her and I told her like I haven't been consistent with my medicine. So it's like how I felt like what's the word? Shame kind of like ashamed of like not knowing what's helping and what's not because I'm not really doing I felt like I wasn't doing my part, I guess, to say
Yeah.
this. So anyways, got back on being very efficient. Right now in the space that I'm in now, I'm taking it every day. I'm making sure that I'm putting like my health first. Like I'm doing all of the things to see like real results and see like how the authentic phases of what I'm going through. Cause I've had
Yeah.
phases where I've had huge bald spots on my head. Like, and I've gone through different methods to kind of help with that. And it's like once you get kind of comfortable again, like, when my hair grew back in,
Yeah.
I was happy and I was kind of like, I got comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's like, I'm starting to see like, oh my gosh, they're starting to come back. So I'm like, it's like
Mm.
different phases where I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm on it and then I kind of fall off. But I definitely have like, a planner. I have two planners, one that's like literally time stamped. And I know it might sound like a little like cliche, like,
The
oh, my
timestamp. What you
journal.
about to say about these timestamps?
Because when I tell you my day can get so chaotic, like between motherhood and working and trying to do the content and
Yeah.
appointments and all the things, it's like, and I get overwhelmed very easily. And I'm a very like organized type of person. So when that isn't right or if something goes off, I'm kind of just like, getting annoyed. And one thing about my diagnosis, discoid lupus, is that the main trigger is stress. Like that is the main
Same for
trigger.
MS. And so
Yeah.
wait, pause really quick. You did say there's more than one kind of MS. I mean, lupus, sorry.
Yeah.
There's more than one kind.
Yeah.
And so what are the kinds?
So there's cutaneous and then there's cutaneous lupus and there's systemic lupus. And so cutaneous lupus affects your skin and your scalp, which is what I have. And another word for it is discoid lupus. And then systemic lupus is more so internal to where your healthy tissues are being attacked like in your joints.
So
And
are there
so
acronyms for both of them?
SLE
Uh-huh.
for systemic and then CLE
CLE.
for
Okay, yeah.
cutaneous. Mhm.
Yeah, and that was something new for me.
Yeah.
I think I knew of lupus for the S Wait, SLE?
SLE,
The ones for
systemic.
joints?
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think I was familiar with that one.
Mhm.
I believe an old coworker of mine had lupus and she dealt with joint issues. So that's what I thought. I
Mm.
didn't know about the skin. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Mm.
I didn't know at
Yeah.
all. So that's
So
new
yeah.
for me, but not
Mhm.
today new, but
Yeah,
new.
yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because it like, and that's the thing where it's like it shows up so differently in different ways. Cause there's a lot of like famous people that people are unaware that have lupus, like Money Long, Nick Cannon, Selena Gomez, like all these people have lupus. And I am curious as to how it presents in their life and they're able to be sustainable in that way. I know Nick Cannon has spoken out about it. He's been a little more vocal about his journey, but he's had to take like breaks from things that he's doing because of the way that it affects him. So with me,
But they have, you don't know if they have CLE or SLE?
exactly. So I
Got
don't
you. They don't talk
know.
in detail that
Mhm.
much, but they do talk about their experiences.
Exactly.
Got you.
Exactly. So, but also with the type that I have, CLE, it does affect my skin and my scalp. So obviously I have makeup and a sewing in right now.
Okay.
But like
Tell
by
us your business.
tomorrow, by tomorrow, like I'd have like two hyperpigmented spots on my face, and I have some balding on my scalp.
Mm,
So how you present isn't always oh chronic illness, like
yeah.
So I think that's the interesting part about it. That mine is physical along with internal, but
Yeah.
like the medicine that I'm taking is a preventative medicine so that it doesn't go to systemic lupus.
Okay.
But that's
So it can progress to
exactly.
okay. Got
Exactly.
you.
And
Got you.
stress is like the main trigger. And if I don't take my medicine, it's like, so all of those things, I'm like, okay, I just want to navigate where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
like,
And so where do you find information? Like you you just told us about two different types, right? And I'm not
hmm
saying that that's like in lupus world,
hmm
lupus warriors are probably like that's elementary,
that's for the
that's
skin.
basic, right?
yeah.
But let's say it's not.
Yeah.
How do you stay up to date on what's going on in the world of lupus? Like, do you subscribe to newsletters? I mean, outside of your doctor, how do you stay abreast of what's going on in lupus?
Yeah. I think uh, being involved like heavily now, a lot of stuff is kind of like in my, like, kind of like within my lifestyle. So, like,
Yeah,
honestly, I'm on social media all the time. So, a lot of the pages I follow, like,
they're giving you info.
and people might take that like lightly, but there's like actual like research, like credible pages,
Yeah,
even though it's like Instagram, it's still credible pages, and it'll be like articles that pop up just on my feed or
yeah,
like um things like that. So I come across that stuff all the time. I pay attention to it. I actually consider it for myself, knowing that it could lead to something else or knowing what I'm experiencing. I actually like care because I'm affected by it.
right.
So and also like you said, like of course my doctor will um tell me
Yeah,
stuff and I'll seek more now that I have a doctor that I trust. She's open with like giving me all the information that I need when I ask.
I love that for you.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask you one last question,
Hit
and
me
you
with
can
it.
look at the camera if you like.
Okay.
If you were to talk to a girl
hmm
who was, well, let's take you back to the day you were diagnosed.
Okay. You trying to make me cry
That
again?
girl who you were, no, that girl who you were,
yeah.
the space you were in your life,
hmm
the responsibilities that you had, the family that you had.
Yeah.
Um, what would you, and she's came to you today and said, I just got a diagnosis of lupus. What advice do you have? What should I do?
Mm. Take things at your own pace. Um, have faith. I don't know your beliefs, but stand on something and don't let it waver. And just know that it's a journey. That but things will get better. It'll go through its phases. Things will be okay. If you feel alone, if you feel like you don't have support, seek it, find it. You never know what reaching out to somebody could do. You never know. You could be speaking to someone who knows this, who's friends with this person. There's a lot of circumstances that can make you kind of, you know, feel like you can't overcome something, but I'm literally telling you that I'm a walking testimony that that's not the case. And just to keep going and don't let any level of discouragement um, hold you back. Cause like your journey is still well worth living and you'll be on the other side of it soon enough to be able to know that you've conquered something. Think about the last thing that you didn't think that you could get through or you were unaware of. Like take the steps of doing your research and finding community because it makes you feel that level of like safety. Um so yeah, that's what I would
I love
want
that.
to
That's beautiful.
say.
Thank you. Where can people connect with you or find you at?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Nayrose, Nayrosee, and I'm also on TikTok, same thing, Nayrose, Nayrosee, one underscore. Um, and those are my main platforms. I'm on YouTube as well, Naomi Rose, for more like long form, like in-person experiences, like
Mhm.
doctors' experiences, and just talking and feeling that connection. If you want to feel like you have a place to sit down and talk to somebody, even if it's through the camera for now.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm pretty active on social media. So if we can connect through there, I can be your bestie, your internet bestie.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you for being here. This is a dream come true for me to do this type of work, and um just connecting with other people that are on the same journey is beautiful. And so
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older than you, but I love what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing. And I'm so sure that this podcast, this episode will help everybody.
Yes, I have to say the same to you. I love that you're even sharing on your platforms and expanding and allowing me to be a voice on your platform because you didn't have to see that in me at all. And I hope things just conquer, take off even more for you. So
Oh, thank you. Do you mind sticking around for another segment?
yeah, let's do
Okay.
it.
Too often do we not want to talk about the things that really bother us, especially when it comes to like healthcare or a diagnosis. Honestly, anything health related can be a sensitive subject, and it doesn't have to be even about us. It can be about our partners, our loved ones. So, our segment, Let's Talk About It, we're going to do just that. Let's talk about it. Triple, you got a question for me?
I'm Natalie from Ohio. I was recently diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and I'm struggling to tell the people in my life what's going on with me. Since my diagnosis in October, I've kind of pulled away from my friends and family because I don't want to have the conversation. And I don't want people to feel sorry for me. But I also don't want to pull away from people because then they won't know how to care for me if they don't know what's going on. So I'm wondering, how did you talk to your friends and family about your MS diagnosis in the beginning? And how did you express what you needed from them in terms of your diagnosis, in terms of how they could care for you, what you wanted to hear, what you didn't want to hear, and just how to kind of normalize your relationships with people now that you have a diagnosis? Thank you.
Oh, these questions be
Ugh.
good and then layered. And I be like, wait, I need to take notes because I got responses for everything.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for writing in. I would say, and I want you to answer too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
first, do not pull away. I do agree that when you get a diagnosis, you like lean in, like turn in, if that makes sense. Don't pull away from those who love you. But I did and agree that and encourage folks to lean inward. And when I say that, I mean, take a freaking moment. So many of us, especially Black people, but Black women or women of color, we are so used to just carrying so much and doing so much. And especially if you are a mom, oh, you just keep pushing and you push through. And while I know that that is what we are born to do, what we are equipped to do, um, it is not always the time and place to do that. And so when I say like look inward or lean in, I mean take a freaking moment, a pause to try to accept and digest your diagnosis, whether it's eczema or cancer. Like, take a moment because this is now a new life, a new lifestyle. And I always say, when you get a diagnosis, especially with an autoimmune illness, it's a lifestyle. It is not just a diagnosis, it's a lifestyle because your whole life changes and you have to adapt to that. And so there's just a time where I think a lot of us wish we took longer to pause and really swallow the fact that this is our new normal and figure out how we want to approach it. And some people are like, oh, I don't want to take a medication, and it's like, that ain't my route. But some people are like that. But you need to take a moment to do your research and to talk to your family and to really, if you have a higher power or a spiritual relationship with a higher power, take a moment to talk to that person or that being to figure out what you need to be doing and how you're going to accept this diagnosis and live with it and how you're going to move. And I'm not saying that it'll be perfect. Mine wasn't perfect. I didn't take that long. I jumped into action and started carrying other people's diagnoses on my back. I don't recommend that. However, that was my way of like coping. It was to go into action, to do something. Like I'm a problem solver. So I'm like, what can we do? And that was my way of it was liberating, but it was my way of like my own little therapy. That's what I needed to do. But I don't think that that's for everyone. And so take that pause to really figure that out, but don't pull away. I can't say that I have recommendations. Naomi might be better. I don't have recommendations on how to talk. Well, I don't have personal recommendations of like how to tell your family to support you. I think that that is something I'm still navigating to this day. And I'm like 12 years in, 13 years in. And so it's not an easy thing. But what I know is that the patient I was on day one, the patient I am today is different. My needs are different now than they were in the beginning. As I just grow as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, like as everything, I'm not the same person. And so my needs are different. And so the best advice I could give for that is be honest about what you need, but be honest when you don't know what you need. Because that's a thing too, not really knowing what you need. And then being honest when you need help in finding the right people. I think that's something that we keep the same people around, but they don't really deserve to be around. And so you got to protect your energy because stress is a trigger for like everybody. But continue to lean in and listen to yourself and listen to your body and adapt accordingly the people who are around you and the things that you need. Because sometimes we just don't know what we need. You got any thoughts on that long question?
No, I think you were like spot on. I definitely agree. Like, and also just like having patience with yourself, having patience with your journey. And even if you don't know what you need, try new things, see what makes you feel good. You might have thought it was going out and turning up with your friends, but you might have felt way more secure and like at peace when you were at home with your devotion the next night. So like take note of what certain things make you feel as you're coping through certain situations. And then take those moments and I would say like be vocal about it with your family and friends. You should be able to hopefully they would have an open ear um to hear you out when you say it could be something so simple. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, like listen to me cry about my illness. It doesn't have to be that. Can you come to a lunch date with me? See if they're available. And just that little break and that little and then in that have a conversation and maybe you're able to vent a little bit, get something off your chest or just get some fresh air, whatever it is. It could be something so small that could have the biggest impact. So that's the main thing that I would say to kind of basically piggyback off of what you said. 'Cause I think you were spot on with like that. I agree with everything you
Yeah.
said.
But
Yeah.
don't pull away. Please
Don't
don't
pull
pull away.
away.
Because it can be isolating. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally just having a conversation with my team. Most times now, because I'm 13 years in the work that I do, right?
Mhm.
I compartmentalize.
Yeah.
So when I talk about MS, I do tell my story, but it's not even for me. It's for other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it, but it's not
Mm.
even for me anymore. It's
Yeah.
like
Mm.
I'm responsible for a community. I'm cool with the
Yeah.
responsibility, but I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
when the last time someone really asked me how I was?
Right.
Or the last time I really didn't respond in a politically correct public speaker way.
Right.
You know what I mean? When's
Yeah.
the last
It's like,
time
how do I really feel right now? Like, is
Yeah.
it like, like, or is it like,
Right. Or,
yeah.
express my frustrations with having
Mm-hmm.
MS. And so, I depend on my friends and family, my loved ones, to
Yeah.
bring me back center. Bring me
Yeah.
back to center when I'm having a crazy day, I'm really tired, or I'm not feeling well. Like, that's my safe space because
Yeah.
I'm not about to be. I mean, that's even though I tell my whole business,
Yeah.
I'm not about to be up on here like every day talking about my bad. Like, I don't talk about my MS in that way. I talk
Yeah.
about my journey,
Yeah.
but I don't talk about my day to day or
Yeah.
like if it's really bad. I'm not sharing my MRI scans on camera.
Yeah,
My blood work. Like,
exactly.
I'm not that transparent,
Yeah.
and that's my own personal boundaries that I've set.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you ask people, I'm an open book. I am, but I'm not. I'm selective.
So I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I am too. I feel like
Yeah.
there's like the boundaries of it, and there's like the
Mhm.
authentic, real life. Like, yeah, feeling
Yeah.
like lethargic and being unproductive today. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just I don't even have the energy to post anything today. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
always gonna be the real. That's like, okay, when I'm really just here sitting with myself, it's like, how do we really feel? And so we have to be authentic about that in our personal lives too. So that's a
Mhm.
good point.
And I think, we'll never get it all the way right
Mm.
with our family and our loved ones and our support system because, again, we're changing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even with my husband, I'm like, all right, this year we doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
have to say, okay. Because I think a lot of people, like for me, they're like, they don't ask. They ask me how I'm doing, but they don't pry because they know me, and I'm cool with
Yes.
that. Like,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know me enough. Don't be
Yeah.
pushing my buttons. Don't be asking me
Not
too
too much.
much. Right, not too much. On my girl, but and so they know that about me.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I see how that could be a detriment because everybody think I'm cool. So when I'm not good, it's almost I don't want to say not believable, but it's almost like
She'll be
she gonna be
fine.
fine. And it's like, actually,
Yeah.
no, I want to ball up and I want you to see me ball up so that you can know that I'm not having a good day and so that you can help me more
Mm,
instead of trying to have like a toxic positivity thing, which I think
yeah.
is tricky to navigate. And so there's no perfect way to do it, listener. There's no perfect way to do it, but you have to be honest and you have to really be in tune with yourself to tell anybody what you need. And then obviously there's therapy. So I think we answered it. We covered it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could go on and
I
on.
was about to say, yeah, but hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, hopefully so. So if you have any questions related to your health or the health of a loved one, like if you're a caregiver or you want to talk about navigating the healthcare system or advocating for yourself, please write us in because that's what this podcast is for. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you listen. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. It helps people find the show. And if you found today's episode helpful, share it. Share this episode. We want more people to talk about stuff like this because these normalize the conversations about healthcare. We need to talk about healthcare because it can't be scary all the time or so scary that we don't talk about it. So appreciate that. And you can find us at Patient in You, and then you can find me at Picture This Vic on Instagram. And so until next time, I'm Victoria Reese, and this is Patient in You. Thanks for listening. Patient in You is a podcast from We Are Ill. It is hosted by me, Victoria Reese. Our producer is Tribble at Ask Tribble Inc. Original music by Laura Burke. Video content produced by Joshua Duane and Matt Ellis. Don't forget to find us on Instagram at Patient in You and subscribe to our YouTube channel at We Are Ill MS for the full video version of each episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and leave us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps people find us. For more information about We Are Ill, our programs, and our initiatives, visit our website, weareillms.com.
The Patient in You podcast is for informational purposes only and not medical advice. We Are Ill is not a medical organization. Always consult your physician before making health decisions.
This podcast is sponsored by MD Serono and AbbVie.